What up, y'all? I hope everybody is doing good. I am great. It is Monday night when I am recording this. We're here to talk about our anchor message for the week. We are going over the spiritual lessons that we are going to be working with for the next 7 days. On Sunday nights, I do the energy oracle forecast, which gives us basically the spiritual energetic weather of the week, the influences that we will be living and moving and having our being with. And on Monday, we do our anchor message and we go into the spiritual assignments for the week and sort of the themes that we will be working with as far as, our soul growth and soul school. So to start, I always pull or have been recently, the Wild Unknown archetypes for our lessons. Midweek, we use the Wild Unknown alchemy for the process. So from the Wild Unknown archetypes, we pulled the Pilgrim. And one thing that I really noticed about this card and another card is the eye in the center of it. We pulled the Tear, another eye, and we pulled the Prayer. Underneath the Pilgrim, we pulled King of Cups. Let's see if that'll focus. Underneath the Tear, we pulled Ace of Wands. Underneath the Prayer, we pulled the Emperor. And I said that like there was something else coming, but that was it. My inflection. The emphasis was on the wrong syllable. Okay, so the Pilgrim, the Tear, and the Prayer. Honestly, like all of these cards really go together in a clump this week. So the Pilgrim, there's something that is, I'm just gonna talk about it with the feminine King of Cups, because this is feminine King of Cups. This isn't just the King of Cups. So in the Mystical Moments Tarot, there are in the court face cards, there are Queen, King, and then a feminine King. And so there are their own reasons the artist did that. But for me, how it's really been reading in our messages is that the feminine King is the highest elevated version of the self-mastery within that suit. So meaning that the union of the masculine and feminine energies have been brought together and integrated in such a way that they've been embodied in that balance. And so this is, I guess I would say, the highest level of transcendence in this phase of the cycle of learning that you're in. So there's something that is very sacred and holy and divinely guided happening right now. Like whatever's playing out in your life at this moment, there's a chance that there's something that is frustrating or that is sad to you or that you're grieving or that it has been disappointing or not how you thought it was going to be. So the Ace of Wands is a new beginning, a spark of creativity, passion, fertile new beginnings. But with the Tear here, it's like, I feel like there's something about this new beginning that is being affected by sadness, or there's something about this, like maybe there's a project or a business or a goal that you've been working on that hasn't quite taken off the way you wanted it to yet. Perhaps there is maybe a relationship that is not working out the way that you want it to in the present. Maybe there are things in your life that you are ready to happen now, but this is not the right season for them yet, right? Maybe there's a business that you've been working on and building, but it hasn't really taken off the way you want it to. For instance, for example, for me, this channel, I've been making daily videos now for a year and a half. And for most people, that is enough to get their channel to start growing, at least to, 1,000 subscribers, enough to just for basic monetization. Mine is in a stalemate. I figure it has to do with some sort of energy, spiritual reason. I don't know what this is. It's very frustrating. So yes, there are tears involved. That would be an example of something like this. Maybe there is a situation that you're ready to get started and it's just not going off the way you want, or it's not starting in your timing. And so what I saw in this artwork here is that this woman is like, I don't know, the way she's dressed, the way the wind is in her hair, she's like wistful and hopeful. And it's like she's reading this story. And it really stood out to me because we've been talking about our life in the context of this brand new chapter opening up, this new season of our lives, almost like life was a series and the series was completed. And then the series got repicked up again and we've started over, but none of the old story applies. So it's like now we're starting in this new story. And it's like, here she is, passionate, ready for this new beginning, excited. She's reading her story, but it's like she's paused for a moment and she's looking off into the distance. And it's like, when you kind of pause and you're kind of in a trance, and it's like the story's kind of paused. She's paused from progressing in the story because she's looking at something. And it's like, in the meantime, there's a rose that's grown up out of the middle of the story. It's like while the pages have been open, while she's had a pause in action, something beautiful is really growing in the meantime. But, roses come with thorns, and so as well as the bloom. So it's just a difficult moment to accept because, we're angsty, we're anxious, we want it now. We're passionate, we're excited, we want things to be good, we want our efforts to show fruit. And so, yeah, it's kind of frustrating. Or maybe there was something that you were having high hopes about that's just not going to work out, at least right now. And I feel like everything is just saying that it's not necessarily a no, it's just not yet or not now. Because there's something about a sacred process in this. The eyes in the pilgrim and the prayer, it shows me that there's kind of a dualistic thing here. It's in a way, this woman is looking on at something and she's seeing something play out that is difficult to watch. Maybe she's watching someone go through difficulties. Maybe what she's watching is difficult for her to see. But also I feel like the eyes are our divine guidance and protection, and our angelic protection, and our spirit guide protection. That's watching over the situation and watching over us. And so the thing is that even though it's frustrating to have to sit here and pause, there's something sacred and very meaningful in this moment of the pause in activity. The pilgrim is that mystical devotee who is always on a pilgrimage in life. Every step of the journey is sacred, is holy, is part of the process. And so even in the midst of difficulty or triumph or mundane or in the lull, it's there's always something holy and sacred about the process itself and in the moment, in the mundane. But right now, I feel like there's something very poignant playing out that is it's divinely ordained. It's a necessary experience and part of the process that our soul needs for our unfolding, and to discover our own hidden motivations and patterns so that we can finally take sovereignty over those and choose the way we move forward with free will and consciousness, and not just as reactions in our default settings. And so even though this is difficult right now, I think it's something that once we're able to put our own agenda aside, or our own ego, or our own comforts, we can see the real depth and value of the present moment that's playing out. And we can see the value of being fully present in the present and not future tripping and not holding on to the past, but just being in the present, being grounded in the now. And so the feminine King of Cups has developed the emotional fortitude to handle the situation, you know, to be strong enough, to be grounded, to be solid in the midst of these like changing winds and choppy waters. The king, or the feminine king, is sturdy and has a solid foundation underneath the water, you know, where the still waters are the ones that run deep under the surface. That's where the work is done. That's where we discover those subconscious patterns. That's where our intuition is hiding behind all the noise of all of that. So we need to get really clear about what's lurking in that unconscious. What's our lingering in those subconscious patterns. That way we know how to filter that out and hear the voice of our real intuition, the voice of stillness, the voice that's not affected by fear, the voice of agape love, of unconditional certainty that everything will be fine and that we are held and taken care of. And so we're strong enough to get through this. And if this situation involves other people, it might require us to be the ones strong enough to get through the situation, because we're the ones here, right? Showing up, paying attention, doing the self-reflection, thinking about any of this. And the more I do the work and the more I'm around other people who are very prone to like being affected by the changing winds and the changing tides, it's like, I'm so grateful that I know these things. Because, you know, when circumstances are uncomfortable, I can ride it out really easily, because I know that it's all just an illusion and that anything can turn around at any moment, and the appearances are not always what they seem. And so many times while everyone else is panicking and giving up and throwing in the towel or whatever, I'm just like sitting back waiting for it, you know, for everything to work out just fine. And it usually does. And I'm there for it to work out, you know? So yeah, but that's the reward. That's the benefit. That's the value of doing that inner work, that healing work that allows us to develop the emotional resilience to have faith, you know, to be able to withstand our own fear and not buckle under it, you know, to be able to withstand our own sadness and not buckle under it, to be able to handle our own desire and not cave underneath it, to be able to hold it and desire with all of our heart and not cave in and react or have a short circuit, right? We can still maintain our solid position and maintain discernment and wisdom, even in the midst of emotional upheaval and heightened intensity. So the pilgrim is on a sacred journey. This moment is very sacred right now. It is very vital to the plot as a whole. So it's necessary to go through this moment, even though there are tears involved. Maybe there is also grief that needs to be processed that's attached to the subconscious things coming up right now. We've had themes of mother healing, inner child healing, father healing coming up, you know, through the summer. And now we've got Venus going into retrograde, which has got us thinking about the past and, you know, our relationships with our lovers and our family and our close friends. It's got us thinking about, you know, the way that we make our bread and earn our living and our values and, you know, our security. And so this can be shaking up a lot of sensitive, tender, vulnerable feelings inside. These can, you know, talks about our core needs. This is love. This is money. This is our ability to like eat and stay sheltered. So these themes are going to make us feel incredibly vulnerable. You know, this is like our survival as a human animal, but also, you know, the soul needs, you know, these things as well. So yeah, feelings can be tender. Process them. Don't hide from your sadness. Don't hide from your anger. Don't hide from any of it. Look it in the face and let it show you what it's trying to show you. Let it show you what it's trying to tell you. Let it show you what you still feel insecure about. where you're still not healed completely, where you're still carrying around hostility. Hostility is a big one for me. I get just a boiling rage. And that is a very low vibration, and it can close you off from blessing and abundance and love, because it's not a vibration of love. Hostility it's a negative vibration that closes you off. And so that's been coming up for me this week, and I've had to really pay attention. But yeah, tears, sadness, these feelings, we have them, and we have to own them and feel them and let them pass. We can't repress them. But what we can do is we can feel the feelings and express them in a healthy way to ourselves, to our creator, to source. But what we do is we restrict our desire to act out, and to take an action about it. And maybe, we can even catch ourselves before we feed into the angry story and go into that downward spiral, right? Maybe we can catch it. Just get that initial rah out and then let it pass, and then try to choose a new way of seeing this situation, right? As an opportunity for your own healing. And so prayer. So whatever your situation is right now, how you can really take the lead in your life, because we have the feminine emperor underneath prayer. And I think that what this is saying, and the feminine emperor is, again, the transcended highest mastery of the emperor energy. The emperor has the divine masculine, leadership, authority over one's life. You're not just the king of your kingdom. It's like you're the king of all of your multiple kingdoms of your life. You have mastery over mind, emotion, physical, money, spiritual, right? You have a hold over all your kingdoms. So the feminine emperor would be a wise leader with authority, but she can do it in such a way that inspires through she inspires and has compassion rather than dictates, or that authoritarian kind of hard disciplined leadership. This feminine emperor knows how to steer people and guide people in a positive way, through inspiration and compassion and understanding. It's like their subjects beneath her are still on strings, but it's not like control. It's like when you have a dog on a leash, or a toddler that you have, some people have them so that they can walk, but they don't run off and get hurt. So yes, it's like this feminine emperor is praying over the situation. And that's how we can take this leadership role over the situation, because the feminine is also the non-physical. It's the emotional journey. It's the spiritual journey. And so we can be the spiritual leaders in our environment, at our work, in our relationships, in our lives. We can set the tone. We can set ourselves up and those around us through prayer. And pray for blessing over your life, and pray for blessings over your relationships, and for the people in your life, and for the things that fall under your rule. Whenever I think about it, I like to pray blessings over my household and my car and all the people that I love, and all of that. So take the initiative to be the spiritual leader in your life, because we know better. We're here, so we can set our energetic thermometer and keep it there, right? Because we're emotionally sturdy and grounded and sober inside, and we can do that. And we can pray from a space of clarity and certainty and empowerment, and pray that, our situation will unfold for the highest good of all, and in accordance with everyone's free will. And we need to ask for that assistance, because heaven can't help us unless we ask, because we do have free will. So they, our heavenly helpers, our angels, our even Holy Spirit is not going to interfere unless we ask. We have to turn and connect with the light. The light is always there. The light is always giving. But we have to make that connection, and we have to ask, because we have free will. And so we have a right to our own freedom and, not having anything forced or thrust upon us. So yes, there is divine timing at play right now. There's divinely ordained events playing out. And I think everything that is occurring right now is really unfolding to propel our soul's elevation and the awakening of our soul and the awakening of our consciousness. So it's just, we've got to be in the game. We've got to be consciously participating in this. And so we are the pilgrim. We see the value in it. We see the sacredness in it. And we have the emotional fortitude and wherewithal to handle the situation and to be the spiritual leaders through this, this issue or this time or this season of difficulty. And to see the value in even the sadness and even the tears and even, there's even opportunity within that, There's always opportunity when there's pain and discomfort involved. And that pain and discomfort is the catalyst that's offering you the assignment book. It's here, follow this pain a little bit. What's really triggering you? There's a wound there, or there's a perception, or there's something to go back and dig through, because there may be limiting beliefs attached to those wounds that could be holding you back. So those things are coming up. We're looking at them. We're accepting the timing of any kind of situation right now, and we're releasing our anxiety about it, and we're letting go, and we're surrendering. And we're going to hold on to our passion. We're going to hold on to that desire, because the most powerful thing that we can do in the creation phases is have an absolutely, the most deepest, strongest desire that we can have, and be able to maintain that and hold that while still practicing that self-control, not to short circuit, not to make a false move too quick, not to panic, and make the wrong decision, or to pop off in an angry, fit or whatever. This is just about, it's what I always say is that you can't have any of the fruits of the Spirit. You can't really practice any virtues. You can't really embody them unless you have self-control. That's the most important spiritual fruit to start with. Because if you don't have self-control, then even with love, agape love, you're wrestling with fear at any given point. And so if you have self-control, then you can choose the certainty in those moments rather than react to your fear. You can say, pause. I'm not going to do anything for at least 30 minutes until I calm down. I'm not going to send that message. I'm not going to send that email till tomorrow. I'll sleep on it, that certainty that gives you that buffer, right? For source to get in there and move some things around. So yeah, I think that's all for tonight. You guys just be at peace inside, and just let go of your anxiety. Whatever's happening right now, it's playing out for a reason, and there's some value in it, and there's a holy purpose in it. I think that's what I keep wanting to say. It's there's a holy purpose, but this is part of our process, and this is part of our soul's elevation and evolution. So just trust and continue to tune in to that divine guidance within, tapping in through your heart to Holy Spirit. And pray out loud, get all of everything off your chest to the Creator, speaking those prayers out loud. I like to make a practice of it in the morning and at night, and it's really great. And then even during the day, and even sometimes at work, I'll just mumble under my breath to myself. Nobody's around, or even if they are, they're not paying attention. And I'm just saying prayers the whole time. So yeah, say your prayers, and then don't forget to do the listening part, getting quiet, getting still, meditating and listening for that guidance, feeling when it feels right, as opposed to when you're reacting out of fear or nervousness or panic. All right, y'all. Well, y'all be good, but not too good. And I will see you tomorrow for Totally Tuesday, where we do our weekly manifestation oracle reading and check in with our dreams and our goals. All right, ciao.